Hello, welcome to Console and PC Gaming, and today we are going to try and give you some tips for the PC. Okay, there's loads of times where people have installed lots of stuff on their PC, games, software, applications, and then something goes wrong. And that could be anything. It could be something that is someone has deleted by accident. It could be something that has installed and messed up your system. And then you think, damn, I haven't got a backup. And then you think, damn, I've got to reinstall everything again. So things, for example, if you have Steam games installed on a local hard drive, and then something goes wrong, you've got to download and reinstall all those games again. And some of us have got hundreds of games, and that will take a long time. But not just that, Windows updates, settings that you've had all gone. Okay, so the one alternative is to back up all your files, your data files on a backup disk. That's great if you've just got static files, for example, JPEGs or photos. You plug in a USB drive and you save them to that drive. But what about software? Software is installed. It gets settings in the registry. Sometimes it gets put on in certain places on the in the system registry. So you can't just copy a program from one drive to another unless it's a very simple one. So how do you save all that work? Well, it's quite easy. In Windows 10, there's a feature which will help you restore your image or restore your settings and all your applications without having to reinstall them. So what you need first of all is an external USB drive which you can buy from anywhere online. It's just got to be a USB 2 or 3, but USB 3 is faster, so it'll be quicker to restore. So what do? Right, you have your image, you have everything installed, you've got loads of games everywhere. So you now need to save this. So what do? On Windows 10, what I would suggest you do is type in Control again, and that gets the old-fashioned control panel up. Now the control panel, in here there is a feature which allows you to save your Windows as it is, and it's called Backup and Restore. Now you'll notice it says Windows 7. I have no idea why it says that, but it's not just for Windows 7. It's for Windows 10 as well. So now you've got backup or restore, and it says Windows backup has not been set up. So you can click set up backup, but that is to do with files, like I said before. So if you've got text documents and things like that, you can set up a backup. But we're not interested in that because we want to restore our Windows 10 to what it was like before it went wrong. So what we need to do is click on create a system image. This one here, look. Okay, not repair this you may need later, but you need to do this. Click a system image, and now it looks for backup devices. So what it's doing now is looking for where it can back up your system, and what you need to do is to back it up on a USB drive. So at the moment I've got a hard disk here, and we have let me just go to, can I click on Control V? Oh yeah, open, that's what we want. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, yeah. So create a system image, and then it will ask you for the place you want to back it up to. Or you can even back up on a network location, okay, or on one or more DVDs. If you've got DVDs, they're already old-fashioned, but you can still use them. The only problem about the network location is you need to make sure that you have a network connection when you've restored it. So the best way, I think, for me, is to use a hard drive. Now you can select all the different hard drives you have. So if you've got more than one, you can click on this arrow here, which is a tiny little arrow, but you can click on it and select your hard drives. So once you've done that, you click on next, and then importantly it tells you which drives you want to back up. Now of course if you've got a USB drive, you don't need to really back that up. What you're interested in mainly is the system disk C, the Windows environment system, and the EFI system partition. Now you'll see they got ticks in them, that's the default. Okay, but if you've got a second hard drive like I have, for example, if I go into my computer and show you that I've got a hard drive. So these are USB drives, you see, so I'm not worried about them because they're plug-in ones, but this is an internal drive, and you can see I've got D. So if you've got games which are installed on C but also on D, then you need to back up D too. And if you've got more than two internal drives, you make sure you select that as well. Otherwise, those games installed on those drives won't work. So once you've done that, you click next. I'm not going to do that, and it'll start to back everything up. Okay, that's it. So it may take a couple of hours, it may take half an hour, it may take an hour. It depends how many things you have installed and how big your hard drive is. So just let that run. It will show you on the screen a progress bar, and when it's finished it'll say it's completed successfully, and then it will ask you for the system repair disk. I'm not going to go into detail on that in this video, but that will allow you to boot up. If the system goes completely wrong and you can't get back in, you can use a system repair disk to get to the menus I'm going to show you in a minute. So once that's done, your USB drive will have the image. And another point, it may ask you to format your drive if you have got stuff on it. So just format it. Be aware that you will lose everything if you format the USB drive. So if you've got anything on USB drive you don't want to lose, save it and then format it ready for the image. Okay, so once that is done, we will show you what happens. Let me just check. Where am I? So file, open. Yes, okay. I'm going to show you some slides now of what you will see. Okay, so if you can get into Windows 10 and you can still log into Windows 10, what you need to do is click on the type to search and click on recovery. Now, there's two recoveries. There's recovery and recovery options. You need to select recovery options, and then what you need to do is do advanced startup. So once you do that, I'll show you what happens. So if you still got access to Windows 10, for example, you install software and it's caused some issues, but you can still log in and do things, that's fine. You can go to this option here called recovery options. Let me just show you that again. Recovery options and then advanced startup, and that will restart your machine, and what you'll see in a few minutes is what you will see on that restart. So when it restarts, it will say system image recovery. So that is what we need to select. So make sure you select this one here, System Image Recovery. And once you do that, the next thing that will ask you for is for your USB drive, which had that image on. So if you get this, it means you haven't put your USB drive in. So make sure you put your USB drive in, and then you'll be able to restore it. So then it will say, use the latest available system image. At the moment it says C there, but it could be D, E, depending on what your USB drive is. This is just an example. It'll be the date and time and the computer. So you just click on next. Just be aware it'll be different for you on the date and time, and the name of the machine will be different, and the location. And then just click on next. And then it will tell you that the machine will be restored from the details that you saved it and the name it was called and the drives to restore. This is just an example, but I'll probably say here something like C and D or C, D, E. Okay, so the drives to restore will be a little bit different to what you see there. And then you'll get this message, or this to be restored, be formatted and replaced with the layout and data. That's fine. If you don't say no, it won't be restored. And then you'll see the restoring disk, and after a while, this might take a few hours, you might see restoring disk C, then disk D, it depending on how many disks you had. So once you've done that, you'll be able to log in as normal. So what I recommend and what we recommend is that you should back up often, and if you've got make large changes, you should back up, and we do ours overnight. So what we do, we run a backup every 2-3 weeks, and we just then let it run overnight. Okay, so if your machine is completely knackered, okay, then what you need to do basically is create a system repair disk. And if I can get to the screen, so once you put your system repair disk in, or it could be a USB disk, you will see this menu, okay, as you do when you get Windows set up, and that you need to do is click on repair your computer. Okay, so when you repair your computer, then you go to the troubleshoot menu, and then you'll end up in the same place we were earlier. So a repair disk is asked. You are asked to create a repair disk after the backup. If you already got one, you don't have to do one. If you haven't got one, do one. If you can get into, you only use it if you can't get into your system at all. But if you can, then you can just go to the recovery options and use this. So then all your system will come back as it was, and that means all the things that you had before, you programmed, you don't need to reinstall anything. You might need to do some Windows updates. So for example, if you backed up your system on the 1st of September, say, and then you have to restore at the end of September. If there's any updates in between there, you will have to do those, but at least you won't have to reinstall loads of updates and all the software again. So this is not that well known from people I've spoken to. This is a thing that you can use, and it'll save you a lot of headaches. And you have things like Acronis, TrueImage, and backup software, but it's free in Windows. It's free in Windows 10, and this is how you do it. Okay? So what you have to do, just recap, go to Control Panel, click on Backup and Restore. Yes, there's Windows 7. Click on Create a System Image, and then get your USB drive, plug it in, get it ready, and then follow the instructions. And don't forget, if you've got more than one internal drive, to select that as well, because it won't always select your additional drives. So you need to select those. And of course, the ones that are already ticked are the ones that really need to be backed up. Anyway, and you can't untick those. So I hope this has helped. And don't forget, we are on console.pcgaming.com website. That's our official website. We've got another video which we've done about fixing low or no sounding games, and check that out, because sometimes you have games where you can hear part of the volume but you can't hear all of it, or there's some sound that you can hear, some sound that you can't, or there's no sound at all. There's an easy fix for you there. So be sure to help support us. We are on all the major websites, social media, and our main channel is on YouTube, so you can subscribe there and leave us a like. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it'll save someone hours and hours of work. And at the moment, it's goodbye from me, and don't forget to subscribe.